This is the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show. Heard every Saturday and Sunday from noon to 1 p.m. right here on AM800.
Thank you for doing a good job as always.
Now back to the show with broker owner and host, Dan Gemus.
Okay, welcome back. 12:49 here on AM800. I am Dan Gemus. Kathy Talbot in studio with me, the one and only.
I have a complaint.
You do? Well, talk to the complaint department.
I just want everybody to know that Dan is very bossy.
What?
I'm trying to tell him something, and he's waving me off and telling me to be quiet and
Okay.
shooing me away. And
You are making it sound much worse than it is.
I know we're on a time constraint, but
That's just me, basically me saying, okay, wait a second, we're back on the air. The commercials
I
are
know.
done. Just making it sound like I'm yelling at her over here.
well, you are.
Okay, listen. We're tackling an important topic, Kath.
Oh, it is an important
can save you
topic. I
time.
know lots of people.
I know
Yeah.
it can save you money and headaches. Well, how to spot a bad contractor. Hiring the right professional, as we know, is crucial for any home project, right? So let's dive into some warning signs. And there's quite a few.
Is it really? I'm trying to think
Well,
of what they'd be.
Number one, some lack of proper licensing or insurance. So depending on what it is, right? Are they properly licensed? Plumbers, for example,
For
electricians.
sure.
Are they insured contractors?
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Because God forbid something happen and there's no coverage, right? So reputable contractors should be able to prove and show you those documents. No questions asked. It should be very simple. No written contracts. So avoid contractors who refuse to provide a written contract detailing the scope of
my.
work, timeline, and payment schedule. Now, how many people do we know of, Kath, that have had issues? It's been a lot. We know of a lot of people, right? It's not fun to go through.
No, it's
So-
not.
High upfront payments. So be wary of contractors who demand large upfront payments. Standard practice is a reasonable deposit with subsequent payments tied to project milestones. Project milestones. So depending on, it could be, 10% upfront, 20% upfront with, different 10% more, 20% more when such and such step happens.
Like
and
when you build a house.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise you give a large deposit and they run away with your money. Not fun, right? Or they just don't show up, or they don't rush to show back up, because why would they? They've got all your money. Unclear or vague estimates. So a good contractor will provide a detailed estimate. If the estimate is vague or unclear, it may lead to unexpected costs down the road. We've been there too, right? Make sure it's clear. What are the extras going to be, or what could they possibly be, and outlined. And at least, the contractor should be discussing it with you before he proceeds, or she proceeds with the next step and spending more money, right? Lack of references. This is a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one because, reliable contractors should have a list of references you can contact. Be cautious if they're unwilling to or unable to provide these. It's tough in these days because you can have fake references. A lot of websites will say, we've got 30 years experience. Meanwhile, they just opened up yesterday. But the website says they've got 30 years experience. Well, according to who? According to nobody. According to the website, right? Or you'll go on the website and you ask for examples or look for examples of work they've done via pictures, and it's all like fake pictures or all standard pictures from the web somewhere, or just stock photos.
Wow.
That obviously wasn't them. We see that quite a bit, right? So ask around. Ask your friends and family for people they've used or utilized and they've been happy with.
That's what I was going to say, because it's a smaller community. We're not talking
100%.
downtown Montreal or something like that, And there's got to be people that have worked with these contractors.
And quite frankly, if you go searching online, put a name in on whatever groups you're on Facebook or whatever, and ask someone for their opinions. Has anyone worked with such and such a company?
Yeah, you'll get a lot of feedback.
And you'll get feedback. Yeah. And again, you're going to get some that are just cranky people that are unreasonable sometimes. But you will get a flood of good or bad news for the most part. And if it's, if half of it is not good news, then there's maybe some questions to be asked, right? Or you might be directed on which way to ask questions to make sure things are looking copacetic. Poor communication. So effective communication is key. If a contractor is difficult to reach, unresponsive, or doesn't listen to your concerns, it could lead to misunderstandings and delays,
Big time.
right? If they say they're going to call you tomorrow with an update, and then they'll call you for 2 weeks, it's a problem.
Yeah.
If they have business, place of business, go to them. Wait in line till they show up.
That's right.
Pushy sales tactics. Watch out for contractors who use high-pressure sales tactics to get you to sign a contract quickly without allowing you time to consider. Right? You want to go over things. You want to get a second estimate sometimes.
Yeah.
Or a third.
At least.
You should get at least a few estimates for sure.
Yeah.
Overly low bids. So this one, when we had the home center that we had previously before we sold it a couple of years ago, there would be people that would come in and say, oh yeah, but this other company that we've never heard of quoted us for much less. Okay, great. But you've never heard of them, and come to find out, sometimes they would come back in and say, you know what, we hired that company and it was a disaster. Wish we had gone with a reputable company. So that can happen too. Lack of portfolio, which I mentioned, a reputable contractor will have a portfolio of past projects. If they can't show you the previous work, it might be a sign of inexperience or poor quality. Negative online reviews. A lot of businesses now have Google reviews.
I know,
Search
and
them.
they're pretty interesting. I never used to follow up on those, but now I look at that for hotels I'm
Yes.
going to and restaurant, all kinds of things, and it's pretty interesting. Like you said, there's always going to be the negative Nellies, but some people have some really interesting feedback.
You can
in those
usually
reviews.
tell
Yes.
by reading reviews. If
Yes.
there's 300 reviews and 5 of them are negative, you can usually
Yeah.
tell that it's okay. You know what? But if it's 200 reviews and 50 of them are 3-star and some are 2-star, and then you've got there's a question there.
Yes.
If there's that many negative reviews, you've got a problem.
Yep.
Right. So frequent project delays, which again we've talked about. If there's major delays, if they've got a history of big delays, it's tough in that business, right? Because oftentimes they're waiting for materials or
Well, looking after
for
COVID, there were
trades
no
or people
materials.
to do the job. Yeah, it can
Yeah.
be difficult, but again, it should be reasonable. Unprofessional behavior. Pay attention to the contractor's behavior. Unprofessionalism, such as rudeness or disorganization, can be indicative of future issues. Written warranties. So again, depending on what type of work it is, they offer a warranty with their work. Will they stand behind their job, right? Subcontractor issues. Inquire about the subcontractors they use. Problems can arise if the subcontractors are unqualified or not properly managed, or sometimes there's been issues where a business hasn't been paying their subcontractors, so the guys won't show up back on site until they get paid because they haven't been paid on past jobs, right?
Yep. And you know who suffers there.
100%, and the
Yeah.
customer suffers, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a big indicator as well. Too many projects going on at once. So
Yeah, how are they going to fit it all in?
that's right.
Yeah.
Or they get spread out, right? So they come back to your place for a day, and they leave for 5 and come back for a day. So yeah, and a refusal to communicate in writing. If they don't want to text or email ever, that
Yeah.
could be some kind of a red flag too.
But
So-
what recourse do you have? Like you'd have to hire a lawyer, right?
You'd have to hire a lawyer. If something goes bad, you have to hire a lawyer. It's not cheap, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yep.
So make sure you do your
Due
research,
diligence, yeah.
due diligence before you hire these contractors, right?
Big
or
time.
again, ask us. We have our VIP program with the Dan Gemus team, so we've got hundreds of services across Windsor-Essex County for all of our clients who've worked with us in the past. They are part of the VIP program, and they can sign up, and they have access to all of our recommended trades, right? So that's hugely important as well. So there you go, Kath.
Again, another day.
Another
Come on.
day. Crazy how fast it goes. So make sure you tune in tomorrow as well from noon to 1 here on AM800. Kathy Talbot joining me today. Thank you so much, Kath. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me, Daniel.
Heather Marintet tomorrow. And don't forget the open houses today from 1 to 3 at 11 Maple. And on Banwell, you can find all the information on our website, dangemus.com. And if you are looking to make a move, give us a call, the Dan Gemus team. We're happy to come out and say hello and give you a free home market evaluation. You can find us on our website, dangemus.com, or give us a call at the office 7 days a week, 519-566-5565. That is not a cell phone, so don't text it. It will not go through. Call 519-566-5565, and that goes to the office, okay? And you'll reach us 7 days a week. Thanks, Kath.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone. See you all tomorrow from noon to 1 right here on AM 800.